guys, welcome to Super61 and welcome to a brand new video. Now last week, Assetto Corsa released their latest and potentially their final DLC for Competizione. Now I say potentially final because this was the last DLC on the roadmap for the game. Beyond this point, we have no clue if there is going to be any upcoming DLC or content for this game. Now of course the game did come out in 2018 now, so it is nearly 3 years old. But it is a very popular game, and it's a game that's actually becoming more and more popular recently. So I am hoping this game is going to continue to be supported officially. There's still a lot of content within the GT3 and GT4 world that I would like to see implemented into this game. Of course, it is a bit of a niche market, being a particular type of racing game rather than just something like Assetto Corsa, where, you know, any track, any car in the world is something they could potentially release. But that is something I'll get into a little bit later on. But for any of you guys who don't know, this was the British GT3 DLC. Now, of course, the game already had a few British GT tracks. We had Silverstone, we had Brands Hatch, but now it's completed the British GT3 Championship lineup with 3 extra tracks, including Alton Park, Donington and Snetterton. Now the track in the gameplay here, as you can see, is Alton Park, a track I have raced a lot on this channel on other games, including Project Cars 2, and of course a mod for Assetto Corsa. So I thought this would be a great track to look at first. Of course, ACC prides itself on the fact that these are all laser scan tracks. So this is going to be the most accurate opportunity you'll ever have to race this track without ever going down to Cheshire, which luckily for me is only 20 minutes away. I've been to this track a few times. It's one of the reasons I like this track a lot. I know this track personally, so it's a great chance to kind of put that to the test and see what it feels like racing around it compared to my experience in real life. But this is going to be the most accurate chance you'll ever have to go around this track without really being at the circuit. So aside from these 3 tracks, what else did you get for your £11.99 with this DLC? Well, you received a whole bunch of new liveries for the existing cars in the game, the liveries that match the 2019 and 2020 liveries for the British GT Championship, and 70 new drivers. Now 70 new drivers is literally just a bunch of photographs and names of the drivers as you're selecting the livery and the car you want to race. So that's nothing even worth mentioning. The liveries themselves, there's a handful. They're pretty nice. Some of the Aston Martin ones, which is what I'm racing here, I actually really like, because the Aston Martin is a car I've really got to grips with recently. I have a lot of different setups for it. Wet setups, qualifying setups, race setups for pretty much all the tracks, apart from of course these brand new ones. But for this video I'm actually using the Brands Hatch setup because this track is very similar. It's a tight track, it's got a lot of elevation changes, it's got some very tight corners, it's got some fast sweeping corners, so I was actually testing out the Brands Hatch setup for this and it seemed to work pretty well. So for your money, you aren't getting a whole bunch. You're getting 3 laser scan tracks. Now that isn't a complaint. I think the price, the price wasn't something that I was disappointed with, but I'm just saying for the DLC itself, it didn't have a whole bunch to it. It was essentially just 3 tracks. Now the only reason I say that is because there's a few things I would have liked to have seen included with this. We're still missing things like the Toyota Supra GT4 car, which was a car in the British GT Championship. I think that would have been a great inclusion for this DLC because that is a GT4 car we are missing and it is in the British pack, so it would have been a perfect opportunity to include that car, and it is a car that a lot of people want to see. Of course, it's a brand new car, it's a 2020 Toyota Supra, and it would have been awesome to see in the game, as well as the GT4 and I think GT3, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, Ford Mustang. Again, that would have been an awesome car to have seen included because it is in the British GT Championship, as well as some of the European stuff, I think. It's actually surprised me that that car still isn't in this game. And that would have just kind of rounded off this DLC, especially if it is going to be the last DLC, quite nicely. 3 tracks, maybe 2 cars, and all the included liveries that go with that, and all the extra liveries for the existing cars. So that would have been nice to have seen. Kind of felt maybe a little bit rushed that, you know, we weren't getting that. We were getting some some tracks that we've seen in Assetto Corsa games before. We've seen in Assetto Corsa and the modifications for that and stuff. So whilst I was very excited for this DLC because these are some of my favourite tracks, it would have just been nice to have those extras. But again, for the price, having 3 highly accurate laser scan tracks, was really good to see, and they are accurate. I've gone round in the kind of replay mode, and obviously I know the track itself is scanned, so it's going to be accurate. But in terms of the surroundings, the little details that won't be, like just the buildings around the site, where the banks are, where the elevations are off the track, is pretty accurate as well, because there's quite a few areas of this track that I know well. In fact, as we're watching this here, if we just wait as we come around this right hand corner here and look up towards the bridge, that bank on the left hand side there is often where I stand, because you can look up the track and you can look back down towards that bank and get some great photographs of the cars taking that right hand corner. So working out and knowing the kind of areas around the track, it does look like it's being done pretty well. And as always, it looks amazing. On my new PC, I'm running this in ultra settings, you know, everything cranked up, and it just looks awesome. So I am pleased with the quality of the tracks, but I will say it doesn't come without issues. Now, these tracks are notorious. All the British small tracks like this, Alton Park, Brands Hatch already, Donington, they are notorious for being bumpy tracks, and this, of course, being laser scanned, has got that accurate. You know, the car does feel like it's bumping all over the place. But at the moment, I think it's having a bit of an issue with the AI. Now, I'm going to cut the race here for a second and show you this clip. So I was racing the AI with my usual 95% difficulty and 80% aggression, but I found with these ultra thin tracks that are very bumpy and windy, you really need to crank that aggression down. Otherwise, I've been finding a lot of instances like this, as it happens now, that I've never had before. I hit the back of that guy as I had nowhere to go, and I just get completely swiped out. Now, if we watch this again from an external angle, because from inside the car, I could not see him coming back onto the track. Now, again, I have played this game for over 300 hours and never had any problems with the kind of actions of the AI, but this is the only clip I managed to save. But I had so many incidences like this in the first few hours where the AI would just, you know, aggressively move back onto the track or try and take a racing line when you were ahead of it and you had the line and push you off. And I mean, this one was a crazy one that, from my perspective, I couldn't even see him trying to re-enter the track. I hit the back of that guy as I had nowhere else to go without going onto the grass, and suddenly the guy who just lost control over that chicane, it was like playing on an online server, just rejoined aggressively and took me out. Now, some people might argue, well, that's really realistic. The AI are doing, you know, making mistakes like race drivers do, which, you know, is one way of looking at it. But when this starts to happen over and over again, and it never has happened before on any other track, I do start to question, has there been an update to the AI or anything in this latest DLC? But when I've gone back on my old tracks, it's not been an issue. Or is it just simply because these new bumpy tight tracks seem to just really catch the AI out, especially this chicane here, because again, sadly I don't have this clip. I only have this clip, I don't have any other clips, but it did happen several times where the AI would hit that inside curb, which would unbalance them, throw them up into the air, and they'd end up spinning off, and they'd end up being either a pile-up behind them, or as you can see here, he comes back onto the track and just completely takes me out. So it, you know, it's a bit of a strange one. So for anyone else out there who may be struggling with this as well, I found that lowering the aggression down to about 65% does kind of calm them down a little bit on these narrower, thin tracks. Now, as well as this, of course, we got the Donington and we got the Snetterton Park track. Now, Snetterton is a track I am not a fan of. That wasn't a track that got me very excited. It's just an awful layout. When you even look at it on plan, it's just not a great track. It's not great to watch when you watch things like the BTCC or the GT3 there, and it certainly isn't great to race. Now, Donington is an exceptional track. I really do enjoy that one, but I haven't put any time into it yet. That's going to be another video. For now, I wanted to concentrate on this track. I've been getting my lap times down. My fastest now is a 1:36.2, I think, which isn't anything world breaking, as I've always said. I'm not, I don't pretend to be the best driver in the world, but I've got down to a 1:36, and that was actually with the Bentley over the Aston Martin. That's another vehicle that I'm using quite a bit now. I was using the Porsche a lot, but the Porsche can be a little bit twitchy, but when you learn it, it's not too bad. But because I've come away from it and been using the Aston Martin, which is just so steady and rock solid, when you go back to the Porsche, it's like trying to ride on an untamed horse. It's just all over the place. So the Aston Martin and the Bentley, for me, both British cars on a British circuit, is a pretty cool one to use, and I am enjoying those cars. So I would recommend trying them out if you haven't already. I would recommend this DLC to you if you haven't got it already. It is really good, and one of the great features with it, if you do have the GT4 DLC, is it finally includes multi-class races. So now if you're doing any kind of race, a custom weekend, a quick race, any of this, it will automatically, it's very strange the way it does it actually. I was talking to my friend about this. The way they set things up in this game is so confusing, and it only gets more confusing with more DLCs. Because now you have GT3, you have GT4, you have the World Series, you have the British Championship, and then within each of them you have 2018, 2019, 2020. The way it works between each of them is mind-boggling to keep your head wrapped around. So if you do, you can now do these tracks, but you can do them in the World Series, in which case the cars won't be multi-class. To make it multi-class, you have to do British GT3 and then click this track, and then you'll have multi-car racing if you have the GT4 DLC. If you don't, it won't. But then it allows you, basically, no matter how many cars you put on track, if you put 30 on track, it will split that number in half, and half will be GT4 and half will be GT3. Which is funny because I always like to start the back of the grid, but if you just start the back behind a lot of GT4 cars, the time you've got past them, pretty quickly though, the GT3 cars have already disappeared up the street. So I've now had to start halfway down the grid to start with the rest of the GT3 cars. But it is fun. It adds an extra level of difficulty in there because whilst you're on a longer race, if you're racing GT3, you've got to start manoeuvring around the back markers of the GT4 cars as well and kind of deal with blue flag situations, which the AI are not great at the moment, I must admit. You'll be going along in a straight line. You can see the guy at the side of the track, blue flags getting waved everywhere, and they just won't move out your way. You know, they may need to do a bit of a patch on getting the blue flag system in place a little bit better with the AI. But aside from that, I am very pleased with this DLC. So if you have any further questions about this or anything you'd like to see in the future videos, tell me down in the comments below. And of course, if you did like this video, don't forget to leave a like, and I will catch you guys in the next one.